Hello, my name is John Rose, and this is a special call to all the vegans and vegetarians on this planet worldwide who have a genuine, sincere passion to want to get people to stop eating animals. Because most of us know it's not a very loving thing to do. And it causes a lot of problems individually and environmentally. And I've got great news for you guys. I've got a great game plan to help you get more people not eating animals. And it's only something that they're going to do on a temporary basis, and more of them are going to be willing to do it. And this is the problem. We got to reach the tipping point. And most people, you can't get enough people to do the vegetarian diet to reach the tipping point. And I've identified 5 main mistakes we're making that are causing most of our problems. We got to correct the first mistake. That's the big one. Eating animals is the second mistake. And my protocol corrects all 5 on a temporary basis just so we can see what we're missing. And the problem with these 5 mistakes is a lot of us don't think we should make that the second mistake isn't a mistake. A lot of people don't think the third mistake is a mistake. You see where I'm headed with this? So there's a lot of denial out there, and the only way to really get people's attention is to get them to do something on a temporary basis so they can see what they're missing. Because the vast majority of us on this planet are not in a position to evaluate what we're doing and what we need to do because we don't know what we're missing. So if you haven't done this yet, you're not in a position. And that's where the first of a 3-step process comes into play that I perfected in it. You can go to a link down below in the description box to see this. So the beauty about my first step is I realized that there are only 3 main ways to correct these 5 main mistakes. And 2 of them, not enough people are willing to do. One is a raw vegan diet, the other is water fasting. We can do those, and we're on the right track for sure. But when you do my third step, a solid food vacation where we're drinking a gallon or more of juice a day, 4 or more liters of juice every day, we see results about 10 times faster. We don't have the type of cleansing reactions that most people do when they start eating a cleaner diet. And then we don't battle with the catabolism and anabolism process because you're consuming more food in one day in liquid form than you could consume in 3 or 4 days when you're trying to transition from where most people are to where they need to be because they can't process that much fiber. So this is the best transition. People always wonder, how do you go from where we're at to where we need to be? Oh, that's too quick, it will shock the system. It's just the opposite. The first step that I perfected is my specialty. I've done it over 1,200 days in the last 24 years, and I documented everything I did while I did it. So I can tell you exactly what happened at a certain time, and I've coached thousands of people, and I keep detailed records of what they did. So I understand what happens when we give ourselves a solid food vacation. I've worked with people who were cattle ranchers, and they had no intentions of giving up meat until they did a 30-day juice fast, and they were singing a whole different tune because they realized, hey, I was missing out on this. A few minutes here ain't worth what I get all day long when I start feeling connected to everything. That's what happens when you don't cook your food. Cooking destroys the thing that makes us feel connected. It's the first mistake. So for all of you vegans and vegetarians who have a genuine, sincere desire and passion to get people to stop eating animals, which is the second mistake, you got to get them to stop making the first mistake. And if you don't make the first mistake, guess what? You can't make the second mistake. You can't eat the animals, or very few will. And guess what? You won't be making the third mistake, which is what most of you guys are doing. And the third mistake is better than the second mistake, but it's still a mistake because you're still making the first mistake, and that's the big mistake. Don't you guys understand that? It all has to do with destroying our food. God, put your hand in a pot of boiling water. Does it make it better? Put your hand in fire, we get burned, right? You play with fire, you get burned. You know, the obvious connection to fire and civilization and how we used it in many positive ways, but then we made bad applications with it. Like everything that we master, it comes with the potential for evil, so to speak, if we apply it to the way we live. Because evil is the opposite of living, don't you see? That's why it's evil. We can't alter our food, and fire does that more than anything else. I just did a video yesterday about the raw food, cooked food debate. I don't think there's any debate at all to talk about. All you have to do is understand the big picture and look at all the things fire does to our food. It destroys it. And a lot of people, now I postulated this and suggested this to many vegans over the years, and they always say, oh, it's hard enough to get them to go vegan, it'd be impossible to get them to go raw vegan, because I'm not going to do it. Well, they're saying that because they don't know what they're missing. So all you vegans need to do this more than anyone else, because the vegans and vegetarians, this is why this is a special call to you guys. You guys have the potential to be the majority of the trim tab to our society to keep us from going off the cliff or running into that iceberg. If our society was a ship heading for an iceberg, there's a big rudder on it, 6 or 7, 8 stories tall, and on the rudder is a rudder, it's a trim tab. I want you guys to be the trim tab. You guys are in a better position to stop making the first mistake than the meat eaters are, because you've seen the improvement by improving your diet. And I'm saying that because I made 2 major dietary changes. The first one was what you guys did. I did that 30 years ago. But then I took the next logical progression, and I stopped cooking my food. It only made sense to me, and I did it. It makes sense. I've been doing it 26 years. I just celebrated my 26th birthday June 1st. My 30th vegan anniversary January 1st. And I'll be 62 years old in 8 days, a week from tomorrow. And I don't ever remember feeling this good in my life. I'm running upstairs effortlessly now, faster. My feet are moving faster than I remember moving. I got to go out and time myself because I think I might be able to break my record in high school. Anyway, this is so much worth it. One of the reasons why the vegetarian movement is not that successful is you guys just don't have a good enough message. It's incomplete. You're sort of like the 6 blind men who find that elephant. Remember, they all have limited perspectives. They all only feel one thing, and even though they're all right, they're all wrong. So anytime you don't have a complete story, a complete picture, hey, you shouldn't make the second mistake, what about the other 4? Then it's an incomplete story. And you're not going to do good at selling it to people because it's not that good of a program. A lot of vegetarians aren't doing that good. The vegans much better. But even then, you're eating too much processed foods. You go to tofu and fake proteins. We're not supposed to cook our food. It's that simple. And that's the major state of denial we have to outgrow. We have to realize what is the fall of mankind. I've asked this to everybody who says, oh, cooking is not the fall of mankind. I said, will you tell me what it is? And no one can tell me what is in the second stage of knowledge. I don't want to hear what's in the first stage or in between the doorway that precedes this. We can only speculate why we made the mistake. What in the hell is the mistake? You tell me. Put your comment down below. If you don't think cooking is the fall of mankind, tell me what it is. What did we do that changed everything about ourselves? It made us evil. How did it make us evil? Because we opted out of nature. We're no longer living the way nature intended. We're not satisfied our needs. We're supposed to eat natural food, unaltered food. We're not doing that anymore. We're not eating food we're biologically adapted to eat. So you vegans and vegetarians, if you're eating grains, we're not grainivores. You got to cook it to eat it unless you sprout it. So who's in denial? If you guys are frustrated, if all you vegans and vegetarians are frustrated trying to convince a meat eater to go vegan, that's how raw vegans feel about vegans. Why can't you see you're still making a mistake? Why aren't you willing to give it a try? So that's all I ask of anybody. I know how hard it is to change. That's why I address the willingness issue with my first step. That's the purpose of the first step, is to address the willingness issue, because I know none of us are willing to adopt a vegan diet or a raw vegan diet or do a water fast to get everyone's attention. What I'm proposing, my friends, has already been done. You should get excited. Everyone in the vegan community say, hey, let's be the trim tabs. Let's do the juice fast. Let's wake up and realize, hey, we've been telling you to quit eating animals. Now we realize we shouldn't be eating what we're eating too. And that's because we shouldn't be cooking our food. Because if you don't cook your food, are you going to eat animals? Hell no. You're going to eat grains? You can't. And if you are making those first 3 mistakes, you're sure in the hell aren't going to process your foods and ruin it. You might be able to improve it. And chemicals, my God, that's a no-brainer. What the hell are you adding chemicals to food for? Well, we know why chemicals are added to our food now. It's not about the money. Food's a weapon system. This is how you take down countries and control the masses. You pollute their air, water, and food. How many people know we shouldn't be putting fluoride in our drinking water? Why are we putting chlorine in our swimming pools? Chemtrails? Oh, should I go there? Oh, those aren't real. I realized when I started talking about these obstacles on the hero's journey, a lot of y'all aren't ready for it. Don't worry about it. Don't concern yourself with it. I try to be as complete as I can with my videos. I always want to offer a solution in every one of my videos. That's why I always send everybody to my seminar. I'm not making any money on this. I'm not making I'm not even getting hardly any hits on it. I don't sell any products, so I'm not trying to get you to buy a supplement. The basics on how to do this is there for free. Usually my seminars last about 4 hours, so I usually go over a whole lot more. I didn't go into total detail in a lot of those in some of my stories that I wanted to. I didn't explain juice fasting as well as I wanted to. I was limited to time. I was pretty much running out at that point, so I had to really condense it down. But otherwise, all we need to wake up from this nightmare, all we need to do to get people to stop eating animals and killing animals and realize what a stupid thing it is to figure out what we're doing to ourselves. So yeah, there's a lot of debate right now in the vegan community about people being ethical and angry and all this kind of stuff, and sometimes I think people lose sight of what righteous indignation is all about. You see someone beating a dog or a woman, if you're not outraged, something is wrong. You're supposed to be outraged at those type of things, and if you're not screaming and yelling, you either don't understand it or you've become numb to it, which unfortunately happens to me sometimes. That's why I'm not screaming and yelling all the time I'm in front of this camera. I'll do it quite often, and I've pretty much kind of let back. I haven't even begun to start screaming at you guys, as I should. If what I'm saying is true, why wouldn't I be just I was doing that yesterday. That's how I feel, very frustrated to know that there's such a simple solution, and that we have an opportunity now. The vegan and vegetarian community is pretty big. You guys could be the trim tabs to get us to the tipping point. You could come out and say, my God, we were wrong. It's raw vegan. And now I know, because I did something on a temporary basis and I blasted out a cesspool, didn't know I had, bumped up those biophotons, and boy, my whole life has transformed since then. So it's time to get excited. It's time for you guys to realize that if you want people to stop eating meat, if you want to take your life to another level, like I did, I made two choices or two adjustments. I went vegan, raw vegan. It's time to take the second step. I know it's overwhelming, so take my first step, and that's what the first step is, something on a temporary basis, and get excited about this. Listen to the Dr. Roba interview. This man was on day 21 of a juice fast when I was coaching him, and he was interviewed by these two women, and you just have to listen to this man's excitement in his voice, because this is what you guys are in for. Why do you think I end my videos with, you're in for a treat?